How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to challenge myself to use my 7180 Tamron lens, but only at the 180 focal length. So let's jump right into it. So I want to talk about a little bit of kind of pros and cons when it comes down to only shooting with one focal length. So one of the possible pros is that the compression is just going to look really cool. Obviously, like that's why the 85 1.8 that I have, it's really cool with the compression. So 180 could be really cool as well. Another pro is that you could possibly fill the frame a little bit easier, so that way you're not kind of having too much negative space when it comes down to your photos, so they're a little bit more intriguing when it comes down to the photo itself. And lastly, well, now I don't have to overthink about what focal length I want to shoot at. I just have to stick to one focal length and just kind of make sure that I'm having a better composition and just making the shot a little bit nicer with just not really having to go, oh, am I going to go down to 70? Just keep it at 180 and then having to move myself. Now for some possible cons, I think obviously with sticking to one focal length is now I'm gonna have to maybe not have enough space to move back or whatever I need to for my shot. So that could kind of set some limitations of what kind of photos I can take. So I mean, now I'm gonna have to be also moving a little bit more to adjust for the shot itself or the composition versus just changing the focal length, which that's the whole point of this, is to challenge myself. So obviously it's going to be a challenge, but overall I think there's going to be more pros than cons in this situation. So we're going to get to taking some photos. There you go. I'm going to go up closer a little bit. Close your eyes and open. There we go. Keep going a little bit. Stop. And then look up to your left, like up higher. There we go. So now I'm gonna have her do this crosswalk one and kind of do like a, I guess, candid portrait of just walking, just to see how the compression looks, because the street is all covered in snow, so it might look cool. Go. So since I was a little bit farther out, I want to have one up closer just to see if I can just get more of her turning towards me as she walks across. So we'll see how it turns out. Keep going. I'll tell you when to look. And look. So I'm gonna have her walk through this little kind of like I guess trail, and then I'm gonna try to do like a landscape kind of style of photo, but I'm gonna take it in portrait mode, but just with the landscape itself behind her, just to see if it looks cooler that way as well. Get more towards the middle. Like in the middle of it, there you go. Well, my dog loves to bark apparently, but I'm gonna try to take a photo of these plants over here and just see how it looks at 180 focal length. So these ones right here. So I kind of wanted to do some car photography, but yeah, most of our cars, I don't know if that's showing up, but yeah, they're a little covered with snow, so it's kind of hard to do some car photography, because that's what I want to use this as well for, because the compression would look probably really cool with this. I've used my 85 before for car photography, obviously, so it looks really cool. So I might just go to the car that's parked over there and just take a couple photos of it on the street, and won't be anything too cool, but it'll be something just to have an example, I guess. So here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna have to be this far away to take the photo of this car to have it all in the frame. So now I'm gonna use my car to take like some side profiles of it, just to show you a little bit of kind of like up close from like more detail that I would want to take in a sense from a car photo. Alright, it's cold as hell. Time to head back inside because I want to do my final thoughts on that. So when it comes down to this kind of little bit of a challenge, obviously sticking to one focal length is a little bit intriguing. It's fun, but it's also hard because you have to adjust to just basically staying creative with that one focal length. Obviously with this kind of photo shoot that we got to do, it wasn't too crazy creative with what we were wanting to do, but just more to challenge myself to just have fun and take photos while we're out on our walk, since we got some snow here in Texas for the first time in like this intensely ever, I guess. So that was kind of something that I just wanted to kind of think about more about. It's like, how limited do we feel when it comes down to our gear? Like, 'cause I know a lot of people tend to focus on, oh, well, I only have this lens. If I had this one, I could do this. And while you're right, you also have to use what you have. I have this gear available to me because I've worked hard for it, to pay for it and buy it myself, so that I can take the photos that I want to take. So I wanted to be kind of challenged with the staying at the 180 focal lengths, just because I thought it would be something fun to do and just keep myself accountable, if that makes sense. I don't want to get into the hype of that, oh, like if I had this, I could do that. If I had this, then I'll do that. But instead of thinking that way, just to go out and do it and just be happy with it. I mean, the 180, I love that focal length. Actually, for the portraits were phenomenal, especially the up closer ones were the choice for me when it comes down to why I would use it. The compression of it, of the background and everything, just looked phenomenal in my opinion. When it got to the full body ones, they weren't horrible, obviously, but I feel like that's one of the reasons why you have the different focal lengths, so that you can adjust with, let's say, a 35 to add a little bit of the full body without having that overly compressed look as well. So that's something that I guess in my mind, that was what I was thinking about, like, as I was working on this scenario. Same thing with the car photography, to have a little bit of diversity when it comes down to the focal length. I mean, having that 85mm lens that I've done for car photography before, it just adds that cool compression without having to be overly done. Obviously 180, you have to be farther back. You get cool compression as well, but then you also limit it with what you can do depending on the space that you have. I was on the street, so I had a lot of space, but let's pretend that I was in a parking garage and there's only so much I can scoot back, then you're kind of screwed. So it's kind of cool to do this little challenge, in my opinion, just to see what the thought process would be. I want to get into doing more of these, so if you have any, I guess, focal length challenges that you want me to do, I have a 20mm lens, 35, 85, the 70 to 180, so let me know which one you would want to see of a challenge, if you will, of only using that focal length, and what kind of photo style you want to see, whether it's portraits or street photography, architecture, car photography. That's something that I think would be kind of cool of a series to do. So let me know down below what you would like to see next. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.